Good evening, everybody. System Chalk here with part 97 in the Apostle Obsonate playthrough as Ike Upscribe. As I mentioned in the previous video, I'm trying to do a few ahead of time in advance of a small vacation I'm going to be taking, and I rather expect that almost exactly a week from today, there's sort of a big event that I will be doing and currently cannot talk about. So on the very odd chance that something causes it to be delayed or otherwise not to happen, I don't want to talk as if it's happened. But if you are, if you're wondering why that hasn't been acknowledged, it's just because there's a bit of a temporal shift going on here. Now, where were we last time? We had been assembling the host, and essentially the Suppression Bureau started to take an interest, as they are wont to do, and we were sort of left trying to keep everybody together and keep the mood going. So right now Ike's sort of standing inside the restless crowd, trying to keep them there while the Suppression Bureau continues its investigation. We do have a new location if we do decide that we need to double back and rely on a few more devices. But in the meantime, we're just going to continue on as we normally have. Go to Glover and Glover when we need to. Otherwise, continue doing commissions, and then once we are able to, start generating Mystique again. The one big danger to this playthrough right now comes from the fact that we currently have a trembling in the air. The sun flickers like a shadow. Dreams ripple behind the surface of mirrors. I must be careful not to drift from the waking world. And then we're going to have a Season of Despair come up in about 29 seconds. So this is why we got rid of our Delight's Blood. We could no longer afford to have that decay into despair. And what we're going to rely on is not generating any dread for a minute, and then have that fleeting reminiscence take care of the Season of Visions. That's going to be how I get through that, but it does also mean that I need to limit my activities for the next little while. So let's carry on. Eventually, I will also be, upgrading the unresolved ambiguities here, but I don't want to, I don't want to study those until they're good and ready. The auction's over. The lot has gone elsewhere. I retain my funds, but we don't retain the blood, fortunately. I guess I'll put that by the Ecdysis Club. Hunters found notoriety, they will use it to create or upgrade evidence. If they're meticulous, they'll always succeed. If they're erratic, they're more likely to fail, but they can occasionally create evidence even without notoriety. Okay. Sorry, I should have read that, but let's do the Grail Commission. We'll use the Devouring Mysteries. We don't have to, but might give me a glimmering in the grand scheme of things. I also just want to double check here with the 7 Graces. I believe I need to do something to it, but we'll have to wait. Okay, Season of Ardors coming up, so even if we did wind up with the Dread, we would have had a contentment to repair it. Again, you can't know that in advance, so I still think I made the right decision for the blood. I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they've found no new clues. Okay, so Restless Host is done. Let's turn in our... after my stand-up act, they'll hang out for a bit. We'll generate 1 Mystique to throw in right away. I think I'm actually going to handle... I think I'll turn in with Jannings right away, too. So again, the question is, with these things, how long does it take? What's the consequence? In this case, I know I'm going to want to get commissions as early as possible, so I'll still have 12 seconds after turning this in. I will have a spare Mystique hanging around, which I'm hoping doesn't get picked up in the Season of Suspicion. But basically, the bigger deal here is getting those cooldowns on Adim and Jannings running right away. Okay, so I think we wound up with a couple of erudition, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. No glimmering for me, but we do have one from reading literature. So let's just throw it in there. Oh, actually, This is a rare chance for me to see. So unless I work with it, nothing special going on there. I think I'm actually going to try and run out the clock on the host a little bit. It's going to seem like a weird choice, but I promise it'll make sense. What am I doing with my study break? No. That's what I want to do. So yeah, we're just going to let that timer run down. And again, it's going to seem like a weird choice, but there's a very specific logic behind this. Okay. So again, they want Mystique. The host grows more names for the list, which is equal parts sacred and secret. More faces for the great night. Finish the manuscript. So, I don't think I'm quite ready to do that, but the days are past in which I could head home after lunch. My colleagues have begun to suspect what I am. They know nothing of what I could be. So I know I'm going to have to set aside some time to deal with the graces. All right, there we go. What's coming up next? Another season of visions, which we don't need to worry about because I'm tranquilizing that. Paintings whispers, windows wink. I know these things are not true, but how can I be certain? So I think what we'll do is we'll talk with Madame Bichet, and then I'm going to get Valcine back on repair duty. That'll give us a little bit of a gap with our commissions and such. We need a glimmering. But I think we can swing it. Again, I want to get the cooldowns running right away on that. So we've got 116 seconds. I'm still going to need to produce a commission, so... Receive the currency of the secret world, and my patron has let tantalizing information slip. This is good that I've got a glimmering out of that. And so we chat with Valcine about repairing the Watchman's Glass. This will enable re-entry through the Peacock store. I review tidy columns of figures in a tidy 5th floor room. From my office window I can see the river. My secretary brings me a hot drink every 59 minutes. The river is the color of rain. So let's prepare the 7 graces. The scents and savors must be precisely as the recipe dictates. Only so can I and my colleagues be sufficiently appetizing. Appetizing enough to arouse a pitch of appetite not seen in the waking world. So we need to give this an enhancement. And in this case we need amaranthine nectar. Now we do not have the true blood of Saint Januarius. So we are going to need to go on some more expeditions. So amaranthine nectar and lethe. We have both of those, so we'll be fine in that regard. If we die, yet shall we live on in those who slew us. This may create problems with Glover and Glover, we'll see. If I lose the job there, then we'll just head to Fort Garrick. We're doing okay for money. Another season of suspicion. So it might be an idea for me to assemble the host after all. We may actually just have to straight up get rid of the weary detective. Well, both of them. Alright. They either want fascination or my library. Obviously, I want to provide the library. So, I mean, again, I could shorten the timer on this. I'm just gonna take my lumps with the Suppression Bureau and let what happens happen. My follower is at work on the mirror. Okay. So, fortunately, we don't need to keep redoing this over and over. We'll just head straight to Glover and Glover. This is likely going to be converted into likely going to be converted into an expedition, but let's try and get a couple more explorers down. Okay, I'm going to try something here. I don't think this will work, but the mirror is repaired. It shines again as it did once before. So let's talk with the host. So yeah, they do want more mystique. So I think what's going to happen here is this mystique's going to get eaten up. So what I have to do then is get commissions, make sure that the timer doesn't run out. It's going to be a little bit of a dance here, but I think we'll be able to make it work. Yep. And we're going to get 6, so one thing I can do in anticipation is just do walking to explore. Okay, so we've got 3 commissions ready to go. It's just a question of sort of stringing along the host. Now, because we're not really ready to go, this is going to seem counterintuitive because I need to wait for... I do need to actually make a commission to get my mystique back up, but I don't really want to waste the time. So here we are going to add another ingredient to the spices. In this case, we need the lethe. Black flax's savor. It is necessary that we forget what we were. And I've increased the knowledge of my knowledge of the secret histories behind the one we know. So where I can, I'm going to upgrade these, but we're definitely not ready. We're definitely not ready for that. So I'll get a passion down. So the reason why I'm doing it this way is the worst that can happen is I just get a lot of fatigued health and I spend money I was going to spend anyway. And the best that happens is I get a, we feel the effects of the Thunderskin, and the consequence is I don't have to spend the money. We could not stoke excitement oven sufficiently. So we're going to have, actually... we're going to lose the host no matter what. So we have 17 seconds here. I can get a commission for Count Jannings. The problem is because the host is just a summoned, it doesn't really matter because it's going to take 10 seconds to get the commission and then 10 seconds to deliver the commission. So one way or the other, the host is going to sort of fall apart. I mean, there's always the option of talking with Sula. No, even if we talk with Sulachana, again, we're not going to be able to do anything about the commission, so... fair enough. Sort of acknowledging that problem. I'm going to stock up on commissions. And we'll prepare for the next round. So now this gives me the opportunity to talk to Valsine again about mirror repairs. So Lantern's most in line with developing something that I want. Okay, back to Glover and Glover. Again, it'd be nice to do the commission, but I need to make sure that everything's okay at G&G first. And then I will use my reason to read smart person books. Alright, and we have a Season of Silence coming up next, so it's a nice little break. Alright, I should have been thinking about this. We've got 90 seconds. That may not quite be enough. Yeah, I should have thought that through. That talk verb's just been sitting there, so let's keep the timer going. Basically, I'm buying myself options here with this. It's not the best choice, but I don't want to do another repair because that's at least going to take a minute. I think it takes 120. At the very least, it takes 90, so that creates problems for me. So as you can see, like, walking with health doesn't really have that big of a cost, and if you get lucky, you can actually do it a lot. If you get unlucky, then it takes takes a minute to deal with the hireling. But at the moment, for me, it's essentially a free roll of the dice to try and get vitality. Okay, so we've got another package arriving with blood, which is good because we'll need it. No, the words contain knowledge, now I contain it. It's a little like theft, a little like feasting, a little like the progress of an infectious disease. So let's take our 2 vagabond maps, and we will turn those into Evening Isle locations. Now, I should have been working on this commission. That should have been the first thing that I did. So again, I'm doing the lantern one because that might provoke something that generates an erudition, which admittedly I don't need exactly this second, but I want to, I want to, ideally I'll just have an unlimited amount of erudition and glimmering, because it's better to, have it, not need it, than run into the situation we've run into a lot, which is, have a sincere hope that we get, X, Y, or Z, and find it, 10, 30 seconds too late. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. So once the commission's done, we'll turn it in with Dr. Redeem, then we'll augment the host, and we're pretty much going to do, again, we'll go back to the factory method. The problem is that we've really bunched up all of the commissions, so I'll do my best, but it's going to take a little bit to get back on track. Another season of Suspicion, good lord. All right. So the question now is, can I get the commission in time, or is it better for me to lay low? I think we can pull it off, but I'm probably going to need 2 commissions. Or maybe it's better I just maintain this one. Yeah, you know what? I should have held back on it. But that's fine, because it's going to take us a minute to resolve this anyway, so no harm, no foul on Dr. Redeem. I'm going to write the commissions, but I'm not going to submit the commissions. Otherwise, we're just going to wind up in this this loop that we've been working with. Unfortunately, it does bench Valsine for the next little while. Okay, we need an erudition or a library. It doesn't really matter which, because we're fine. Oh, you know what? I bet we're not gonna be able to use the glimmering that I wanted. Okay, and the courier has arrived with the blood just in time. So again, we'll have a threatening fascination sort of sitting on the table, but I'm gonna have to learn to live with it. Again, I really didn't set the factory right after the first disruption, and a lot of this has just piled on top of itself. I am much recovered. More than that, I am sumptuous. The sclera of my eyes, the veins in my wrists are aswim with gorgeous serums. When the vitulation comes, I will be the centerpiece for our delight, to prove their appetite, to enact the grail. So that mystique gets eaten up. Well, I mean, I can throw it in here. That's not the end of the world, but it's not going to do anything. And here we'll get the heart commission going. And here I believe they want a glimmering. Yep. Oh, what's this? Yeah, sanctuary. So, funnily enough, I actually think the second... No, I don't think the second mystique would have worked. So it's academic at this point anyway. I made my choice, so we'll work with it. You can see how slow the progress is if you just try to do, you know, one hint at a time. It's mostly just because of these 30-second intervals between the puzzles. You know, if you're faced with a challenge, you got to play the hand that you've been dealt, but it's definitely a tricky one to navigate. So I mean, that's unfortunate that we had another season of Visions, but what are you gonna do, right? Like we just simply have too many things to worry about, and we had a good solution for that last time. So a tricky set of circumstances we find ourselves in. We're more or less back to where we were before. The only difference here is that we're a little bit better off in terms of maintaining and growing the host. We know that we're going to have to go on a new expedition anyway, so at this point it's really just a matter of sort of maintaining the host more than anything. And of course, you know, part of the delay here is just building up enough funds so that we can afford to be away from Glover and Glover while we generate some notoriety. And I suppose in the worst case scenario, if it really comes down to it, we can just try and eliminate the weary detectives. We actually have enough to be able to get rid of both, but you know, it'd be good if we can just be clever rather than forceful. But we've come to the end of our time. As always, thank you very much for watching. I think I'm going to do another batch of recordings just, you know, to deal with the vacation. So if you know, it's not really relevant, but if you're looking for maybe reflections on contemporary events, this is the one time where I'll be a little more quiet on those, just because I'm working through you know, a batch of videos that I wanted to record when I knew there'd be a disruption coming up. But regardless, if you've not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. If you do subscribe to the channel, or even if you don't, I'd love it if you would leave a like and possibly a comment if you have anything to say. They do help the channel get noticed. And I believe this will be coming out on a Friday, so I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Wednesday for the next entry. Until then.